to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Oh, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Oh, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Time to stop hiding. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Oh, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise. Oh, rise. Get ready. Get ready. Get ready to rise, rise, rise.
Good morning, ladies. Welcome to Monday Motivation. My name is Sara Noel. If you are new to the group, I'm the founder of Get Ready to Rise, and I have a gorgeous guest this morning, Molly Murray. Molly is a best-selling poet and transformation coach. And she has recently just launched this beautiful book. Sorry, I don't think you can see. Yeah, I'll just tilt it to the side. Misdiagnosis, which is a wonderful book of poetry. I'll let Molly tell you more about that when I invite her on. But today we're talking about our little people and how we can encourage them to be comfortable in their writing, how to empower them to write. And Molly is one of the best people to talk about that. She's a gorgeous soul. So let's just welcome her on. Hi, Molly. How are you?
Hello, hello. Thank you so much
Molly,
for having me today.
oh, you're welcome. Molly, did I sound okay then? Because I think my mic is playing up.
Oh, I thought you sounded brilliant. I didn't hear any glitches, but
Okay,
I'll let you know
that's
if I do.
how are you today?
Oh,
How
I'm
are
just
you?
wonderful. Thank you. It's a bright, sunny day. It's like gorgeous outside. I'm like feeling good.
Yeah,
Summer's on the
yeah,
way.
it is. Oh, and thank you. We had a gorgeous conversation. Didn't we? I was staying in London in a hotel, and I just randomly text Molly and just asked her if she wanted to chat because she's such a gorgeous soul to speak to. So thank you for our lovely chat.
I loved that so much. It was honestly the highlight of my weekend. It was so wonderful to talk to you.
It's nice, isn't it, speaking to like-minded people who have similar interests, and we
Mhm.
swapped a couple of links, and it was just nice. It was so beautiful. Thank you.
It was gorgeous. Magic happens.
It does. So, do you want to share it with the audience? Because not everybody may have been introduced to you before.
Mm.
Do you want to talk about misdiagnosis first before we lead
Oh,
on?
thank you so much. I would love to.
Mm.
Let me see. I think I probably have a copy right here. Yes, awesome. Yeah,
Mhm.
so misdiagnosis is the story of the collection of poetry that's about my journey of learning to love myself, learning to accept myself through trauma and chronic illness. I went through a period of time, it was about 8 years of my life, where I had intense chronic illnesses, and a lot of them were misdiagnosed or undiagnosed. Doctors couldn't figure out what they were. And I know now I had two of the most severe pain diseases. Um, and so that's what I was struggling with on top of other conditions.
Mm.
And but just that kind of feeling of being, I was so lost because first of all, they couldn't find the diagnoses. I didn't know what was going on with me or my body. I just felt so lost and I couldn't connect back to myself. And so I started this book um, one night when my husband said, I just wish you could love yourself. And I was like, well, that's not the problem. Problem
Mm.
is these people who don't know their job, can't figure things out. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, wow, I really don't like myself or my life. And so I had to learn,
Mhm.
I just had to take this journey of learning to love myself. And the way I've always come to grips with things and processed what I'm going through is poetry. And so that was what I naturally turned to. And
Mhm.
so I just wrote it all out. And so here it is. Um, if you are going through chronic illness or learning to love yourself, that same journey of like just struggling to love yourself and love your life, or if you have a loved one who is, I think you're really, really going to resonate with this book, with this
Mhm.
collection. It really goes into the hard parts of life. But then you see the glimpses of light along the way as well.
Mhm.
And honestly, there's so much more light and things start getting so much easier, so much lighter as you learn to love yourself and to celebrate your life, which
Mhm.
may sound crazy when it's like kind of sucks, but you can still do it. And just honoring your experience as you're walking through hard things. I think that's a really hard thing to do, especially when we're in this age of comparison on social media. It's hard to like celebrate your own life when you're
Mhm.
like, well, this kind of sucks. But
Mhm.
my hope is that this book can help you to celebrate you and
Mhm.
celebrate your life where you are right now.
Absolutely. And I don't even think that you have to have a chronic illness or know somebody with a chronic illness to appreciate this book. I know I don't, and I just devoured it, and it really did. Um, enlighten me and help me understand what you've been through as well, a little bit more. My heart goes out to you.
Oh, thank you so much. It's
Yeah.
amazing though to be on the other side of that experience. And I think
Uh-huh.
that's why I was ready to release this story.
Yeah, 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 and
Mhm.
well done. Amazing. And thank you so much, because I know that you have contributed day one revenue, your royalties to our gorgeous Azima, who we're sponsoring through Plan International for Get Ready to Rise. So I appreciate that so much. Both myself and
Oh,
Natasha
it's such
appreciate
an
that so
honor to
much.
be involved with this community and yes, with this beautiful young soul. If we can help her to take a step further out of trauma, that
Yeah,
means the world to me. That's a very important part
yeah,
of like why I do what I do is I want to share what I've gone through so that I can help others come out the other side.
yeah. No, definitely. You have a heart of gold, honestly. So today we're talking about our little ones.
Yes.
And you have, let's talk about your little one first. Tell us
Mhm.
about Jack.
Yes, so I have one little one, Jack, and he is 5.5 years old. And he's a Libra sun sign, Aries rising, which means that he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect, but he can be very demanding.
Yeah,
The Aries means that he just needs a lot of attention, a lot of like one-on-one. He doesn't do
yeah,
things by himself. He's kind of
yeah.
growing that out of that a little bit, but he's not the
Okay.
child who will go off and do something and focus on
Yeah,
it by himself, maybe
yeah,
like 10, 15 minutes tops, if that, but he
yeah.
just needs like involvement all the time.
Yeah, and Jack has been present on some of your lives. I think with the last one I saw, Jack, was your launch. Was it your launch, or was it the Poet Circle?
Oh, that was the Poet Circle. It was both
Yeah,
the launch Poet Circle, and he was so sweet. He wanted to support me by coming, and like honestly,
yeah,
he wouldn't usually do something so boring.
yeah. He was
So I
great.
felt very supported.
But what I did notice and admire you for was your beautiful patience with him. I took note of that, because quite often, if through this period when Luca has invited himself in on my lives, it's turned into quite a dramatic experience, and I have not been as patient as you. So I am really excited to learn from you today, because Luca, my son, is really um, he's really leaning into his creativity. He's struggled a bit with writing, but he just loves to draw constantly and paint. Um, and quite recently, he's been very proud of like stepping into all of a sudden it's making sense to him, the
Hmm.
pen to paper it's making sense to him, and he's creating sentences more fluidly now. And so this is really interesting for me, because I want to know, how do I what's your number one advice for raising a writer, to encouraging them to step into it a little bit more?
Oh, I just love that. And that's so exciting that he's at that stage. I love watching them kind of branch out and try
Yeah,
new things.
yeah.
So, number one advice would be to just teach him to trust himself and to use his own voice and to honor that.
Hmm.
I think too often we have a really demeaning way of parenting culturally that looks on children as kind of lesser, or like if you're younger, you're not worth as much as someone who's older.
Hmm.
And honestly, I feel there's a scale of like being liberated parenthood, and I was surprised I was really conservative on it. Which like I don't feel like a conservative parent at all. But I think the most liberated would be using the respecting your child's voices more than your own, whereas in like you do exactly what they say, and I'm like, that's just not safe.
Okay.
Yeah, but there is a way where you can respect their voice, where you're still, you still have a dynamic of a little authority. Um, but so my question as a parent going in is always like, how can I help him to not to think that I'm kind of the end all, but that he needs to question things.
Mm.
And honestly, when they're this little, it's so hard because I'm questioning everything anyway. And sometimes you just need to go to bed.
Yeah.
But I guess my goal as a parent is to teach him to trust himself, because that's one of the journeys that has been so hard for me, has been to learn to trust myself, to use my own voice,
Mhm.
and to just trust that voice inside of myself. And so if I can teach him to do that for himself,
Mhm.
that'll be like worlds ahead. And so I do just try to listen to him and to show him that I give him kind of the time and respect I give to other people. Um, like you're talking about the Zoom call, which like I do want him to know he's important to me and I honor his presence, like anyone else there. I was very honored that he spent that time
Mm.
instead of, watching movies or something, because,
Mm.
it was an important night to me. So I wanted
Mhm.
to give that back to him and show him it meant a lot
Mm.
to me. And
Mhm.
so I guess just little things like that. And too often as parents, we can think of like, oh, my way or the highway, like this is the way we do things. Um, but honestly, just trying to open that definition and expand it a little and just
Mhm.
be open to their ideas.
Mhm.
And I find that is actually, even though it doesn't seem directly related to writing, so
Mhm.
much of writing is trusting yourself and being willing to take chances and to use your creative voice. And
Yeah.
so if I can teach him to do that, I can't give him words to say. And I think that would not be right, if I'm like, here, you need to give this message. But I can show him that I respect him and that I want to hear him, that he always has an audience and that his stories matter and that his work has value.
Mm.
Um, and I think we all do that as parents. They draw something, we're like, oh, it's the best thing I've ever seen. That's pretty easy to do. But so I guess I think one of the hardest things for a little artist to get past is like he's a real perfectionist. And so if it's not perfect, he wants to stop. They get frustrated. They don't want to keep working. Um, or wants to throw it away or something. And just I guess my struggle is just to be patient in showing them, no, this matters, this values. So this has value. So I'll like put something on the fridge, even if he doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Or a lot of times he'll come home with something in his backpack that he doesn't show us. And then I like make sure I take it out and put it up somewhere that he knows we notice it. And
Mhm.
so honestly, I think it's just those little actions of like noticing, giving value.
Mhm.
Um, because it's true with like these little ones, how would you train them to write? Like I
Mhm.
saw a really interesting picture the other day. It was an x-ray of a 5-year-old hand and a 7-year-old, and the 5-year-old's hand was just like a baby, like it's not developed to hold a pencil yet,
Right.
and so they just don't have that capability. 7-year-old a little more advanced, but still it's like we oftentimes think, oh, why can't they just sit down and
Mhm.
do the homework or write
Mhm.
his name or do whatever it's supposed to
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
And they just developmentally not there, but we can
Yeah.
encourage them where they're using their creativity in other ways, like
Mhm.
all the drawings, Luca's
Mhm.
creativity there. That's an amazing place to support him so that he feels empowered when he wants to write, to like go try new things and
Yeah.
to use his own voice there.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so how do you could you delve deeper into that? So how do you encourage a child to use their own voice?
Okay. Yeah, it's such a good question, huh? So, well, one thing I would do is expose them to lots of other voices and kind of show them that there are a lot of people out there. There are a lot of different styles, a lot of different stories, and just respecting other stories, honestly.
Mhm.
Like reading a lot, or just kind of, if your child isn't to reading, to listening to podcasts. Sometimes there's like some story time podcasts that are really fun. Or one way, because Jack is like not he didn't used to like to read at all. Now he's more
Right.
into it.
Right.
But I was like crushed because I've always been such a reader. And I was like, why does this child not want to sit and listen to a book, you know?
Yeah.
But like yoga with Adrienne, or is that her name? Cosmic Kids Yoga
Yeah.
is amazing because she's telling a story, but they can move
Yeah.
during the story. Interactive things like that, like puppet shows. Sorry, so that's like listening to different voices. But I think when we start to, when they see how we respect different voices and different ways of communicating stories, that
Mhm.
they get more creative with using their own voice and
Mhm.
telling their own story.
Mm.
And again, this is something where we need to help them develop that self-trust.
Mhm.
And when they're little, that is really hard because a lot of their decisions you can't let them do because they're dangerous,
Mhm. Yeah.
or not practical, you know, like you want to go outside barefoot in the middle of winter, you know, that kind of thing. Um,
Although I'd
so
love to.
obviously we can't let them trust their voice and everything, but let them make the decisions where they can and give them
Mm.
choices where they can. And then as they get older, they have more and more freedom, and they've already learned that they can take these little steps so they can take bigger steps.
Mhm.
And I think just developing a relationship where they know that they can share something and you're not going to throw it back at them
Mhm.
means the world, you know, where they have that safety to be creative and to say what they want to say.
Mhm.
And they know that you're not going to abandon them, or any of the numerous things that could happen to a tender, sensitive artist.
Mm. No,
You know?
definitely. My son's started to say, he started to ask me recently, do I think he's weird? Because he's because um he's very energetic, and he does follow his own, he does sing his own song, and
Uh-huh.
I do let him just go for it creatively. Do you know what I mean? I don't try and control him at all.
Mhm.
And I think he's recognizing that it's not that he's different, he's just like he's his unique self,
Mhm.
right? So now he's questioning whether that's weird. What advice would you give
Oh.
me? Um, you know, I think I'm handling it well, but what would you say in this instance? Because I'm interested to know what you would say to
Mhm.
Jack if Jack asked you if he was weird, as it
Yeah, well,
pertains
he's
to creativity.
he's actually started saying something really similar.
Oh,
And this is
they
hilarious.
are
There's
quite
a little
similar, though.
boy in his class who had a man bun.
Right.
And he would not believe the stories about this man bun that come home. It's like the man bun has a life of its own. And I said, "Well, do you want to wear a man bun?" And he's like, "No." But he's still kind of jealous of the man bun.
Right.
And I think just the presence it has. And so I've been telling him, you know, you have your own story, your own presence, your own friends. And a lot of times, because I guess we've gone through this since he was tiny, because he's always been so social.
Mm,
And other kids aren't always into that kind of social or that energy. You
mm,
know, it sounds really similar to Luca, where they're just like on all the time.
mhm,
And so I've just been trying to tell him, you know, we all have our own tribe.
mhm.
And so, and I've actually been sharing Brene Brown with him. Do you know, have you watched her video about the, why can I think of what it's called right now? I send it to people all the time, but it's on Creative 99U. I can post it under here. But it's about responding to criticism,
Mhm.
being an artist and responding to criticism. And this is something, you know, they'll deal with their whole life. It's the same issue whether he's 5 not having a man bun or 7 thinking he's weird, or you know, it's like the exact same issue that you have as an adult thinking, is this good enough, you know,
Yeah.
to like give out to the world? um, or just like hearing criticism from other people. And
Yeah.
so Brene Brown says, you know, you have these gladiators in the arena, and when they go out, the crowd is jeering, the crowd is roaring. but the only people they listen to are the guys who are on their side fighting the exact same battle.
Right.
And then you can trust that voice, and like that voice is in your corner.
Yeah.
You don't listen to the people criticizing from the crowd who are not doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the main lesson I've been trying to give Jack, is just your vibe, your tribe,
Yeah.
is to kind of find his tribe, not to listen to these other voices that are cool or not cool,
Yeah.
but to just enjoy his own independence and to be happy with that, and to be happy with his friendships, and kind of just to leave that comparison game. Um, and that is so hard, whatever age you're in,
It
we all
is.
struggle with it. Like it's something that comes up all the time for different people. But yeah, my hope is that starting him young, he will have these lessons as he goes through, and when he is having an art show or whatever, it'll
Mhm.
be like, he feels free to express himself and not to listen to the naysayers and the critics. So
Mhm.
sorry, that kind of goes off of a little far away from being weird, but I think it's just that same idea of like, we've got to listen to the people in our corner, people who are doing the same thing, and teaching our kids to like find those people who can
Mhm.
have our backs and be your tribe,
Mhm.
instead of looking for that affirmation from everyone.
Yeah, and also not to for them to think that they have to put themselves in a box. That,
Mm-hmm.
but Luke is cool because he has actually started saying, "Oh, wouldn't it be boring if everybody was the same?" You're
It's
right, Mama.
amazing.
It would be boring because he's gone away and he's thought about it. He's thought about
Mm-hmm.
what the world would look like if everybody was the same. And he said to me this morning, he was like, "Can you imagine if all mamas were the same as well?" And I was like, yeah. He was like, "I wouldn't be
Wow.
able to recognize you in the playground."
That's just magical. I love it. It's this journey of like, okay, I'm trying to think whether it's Jordan Peterson or what. Someone was talking recently about how it's all like every step of childhood is a journey of finding your independence from like the first
Mhm,
time they roll over and learn that they are not mother, you
mhm,
know? And
mhm,
so babies are learning that they're not mama. And when kids are acting out or kind of being rebellious, they're just finding out the
mhm,
differences between you and finding those boundaries, but mainly finding out, oh, we're not mom. Because
mhm.
like little kids identify themselves so closely with their mother to begin with.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so it's like fascinating to see how that comes out in different places. And now he's like seeing that so clearly. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just magical.
It is. I don't think Sarah's here anymore, but Sarah, thank you for joining earlier. Um, and I've lost the ability to bring comments up on the screen, but she says that's another great point, teaching them that what they say and what they do has so much value, inspire and encourage them to engage with the world. I love that.
Yes,
And that's
absolutely.
yeah.
Mhm.
So do you have any plans to develop a book that is, full of young writers, poetry or their stories, or what's your plan? Because
Oh my
I can
goodness,
see
that is
that,
a really
like,
fun idea.
uh-huh,
So, well, with my big plan with this, um it's kind of like, so I'm developing a course, a membership for adults that's called the Indigo Society, or sorry, the Indigo Collective, and it's for to empower empaths. And
mhm,
part of being an empath and an indigo child, which I think we all identify with so closely if you're in this circle,
mhm,
is being so in tune with your emotions and your creativity. And a lot of times when we're not aware, this can be a real vulnerability.
mhm,
And this can be a place where people, really hurt us because we're just emotional beings. And so we soak in these emotions of others. Sorry, this is all connected.
mhm,
And so, yeah, so this membership will be a place where we can all come, and people can have encouragement as they work through toxic relationships and step into their own power as empowered empaths and empowered creatives. So that one, I was like, well, that's for the parents, but we need to have something for children because, I'm so passionate about helping people heal from trauma. And that's my life mission, that's my purpose. And so, and I know our kids are going through so much right now. And so, my goal once I like create these courses is to create one centered for children. And I'm not sure if I'll have a teens and younger kids. I think I'd have to do that eventually. But yeah, so my goal with this course is to teach, just to give children the tools to deal with trauma, to rise from it, to heal in the moment and to process it so it doesn't sit in their bodies and stay with them. And this is so connected to creativity. I think creativity is one of the main ways that we process trauma and one of the main ways that we heal, that we find our own voices. And so that will be just a huge part of it, is that these children will learn to be creative and to have that freedom to express themselves at the same time. And I've definitely, yeah, and I've like part of my course for adults will have a book of poetry that we do together. But I hadn't thought about it for kids, but I think that's an amazing idea. I just love that because kids have like such vibrant voices.
Yeah.
You know, they're just amazing anyway. Like
They're
the
the best
amazing things they say.
storytellers, aren't they? They really are, because there's no boundaries.
Well, exactly. And like the way they describe things is just amazing. You know, things
Oh, I
about
hope
things
you
so
do that
differently.
soon. I'd definitely love to join with Luca. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I hope so. Yeah, I've got a few things out. So like right now I'm finishing my book draft, and then I'll do the Manifest Healing course for adults, and then I'm going to do the Indigo Collective. And then so I think it would probably be next fall. I was hoping I could get it in the spring. But or maybe while Jack's home, I'll do it this summer.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for that. So what's next for you now that you've had such success with this book? What's next for you? Well, you've just mentioned that you're working on your next book, right?
Yes. So it's really exciting. I signed in with an agent last summer, which is just amazing, lifelong goal. And so I have a book. It's a middle grade fantasy, and middle grade is kind of between like 8 and 12 years old. You know, kids who are reading, but still kind of, it's not going to have adult themes,
Right.
any like graphic violence, like that kind of thing. So it's a little bit softer.
Yeah.
And it's just a story about a neurodiverse boy, and I can't give away the whole thing yet, but it's so full of magic and amazingness. I'm thrilled because I've really leaned into the creative process for this. And part of this journey has been really trusting my own voice. And so that's why I'm like, that is like the biggest thing I want to give to kids who are expressing an interest is writing. And so anyhow, I'm like almost done with this. So I finished the main edits, and I just got to go through kind of a line by line copy edit, and then I'll send it back in this week and see where we go from there.
Exciting. So how can people continue watching you on this journey? Where can they connect with you? What's the best place?
Oh, fabulous question. So I'm on Instagram as Ex Libris Molly Murray, and on Facebook at Manifest Healing Now. That's the address is Manifest Healing Now, and then the title is Manifest Healing with Molly Murray. Yeah, and my website is Molly Murray Healing Magic, and I've got lots of freebies up there, lots of fun things to be involved with. So I'd love to see you up there. You can buy my book, Misdiagnosis. It's on Amazon across the world. And I'm excited to hear from you. So send a message and let's connect.
Well, for ease, just drop your links in the comments after we finish.
Absolutely. That's a great idea.
Can just click through and connect with you. And everyone should connect with Molly because she's such a blessing. I feel so blessed to have you in my life, honestly. You're like my calm.
Oh my gosh, absolutely likewise.
You're like my calm. It's amazing. Thank you so much. Do you have any more tips before we?
Oh, I did want to say one last thing, is just a way to encourage any young creative in your life. give them opportunities to present their work, you know, if
Mhm.
it's, I don't know, if you have a public space where they could hang up their pictures, you know, things like that. Any kind of public space, and then share their work too, like on Facebook, share their poetry. You know, really celebrate when they
Mm.
create,
Mhm.
whether that's putting it on your fridge, putting it on Facebook, putting it up in a bulletin board somewhere, you know.
Mhm.
But really celebrate them
Oh, yeah, my
wherever
house
they
is
are in their
covered in
journey.
well, Luca's bedroom is covered because I'm like, you have to put these drawings and these paintings on your wall. And so what I will do is I'll try and encourage the writing a little bit more, and then display that work as well. Because at the moment it's just drawings and paintings that he has on his wall, and I have some pinned up in the kitchen as well, just so that he always has these reminders of the work that he's done.
Oh, that's beautiful. I think that's really amazing.
Yeah,
He's a really
there
strong
are
little
some
warrior
drawings that are
already.
questionable. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Where did that come from?
Well, that's amazing if he can like think something and like express it. That's like half the journey there. So I think you've done an incredible job. You're an amazing mama.
Trying. And likewise, darling, thank you so
Oh,
much
thank
for
you.
joining me today. So if anybody does catch this on replay, just let us know in the comments that you watched. And Molly will be dropping her link, so please do connect with her. And as she said, Misdiagnosis is available on Amazon. I would recommend this book to everybody.
Yay, I would too. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that.
Hmm.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, lots of love to you, Molly, and have a fantastic Monday. And I'm sure that we'll speak very, very soon.
Oh my gosh. Oh my love. This is just the best way to start the day. It's just the
It
very best.
is. Oh,
Okay. Thank you so
that's
much,
so lovely,
Sara.
darling.
Lots of
Bye.
love.